From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a severe weather alert.
Take it away.
All right, folks, good morning to you. It is about 18 minutes in front of 4 o'clock. I'm Ben Luna alongside Chase Wilson and Fred Gossage here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center as we continue to watch severe weather unfold across the region on what very well still is going to be a historic day for severe weather, unfortunately. Let's start off with the strongest storm that we have in our viewing area. That's going to be Franklin County, Alabama. This was a tornado-warned storm about 30 minutes ago. We have seen it weaken. However, over the past few frames, this thing has started to try to re-energize a little bit. And we're seeing that right around the Russellville area where you do have a very, very well-defined hook, in addition to an increase in the precipitation, if not actually some decent-sized hail, again, right in the Russellville city limits that extends back out toward Belgreen and then on toward Atwood and Vina down at the county line. And looking at the velocities here, I think we're on GWX.
Yes.
We do have...
You do have that broad area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a broad area of rotation. This is, let's loop that, let me see how it's looked over the past few minutes.
Sure.
Because it was decent as it came out of Mississippi.
So here's how it's evolved as it's headed into...
Okay, it went
County.
from nothing now back into something.
Yeah, pretty decent. A little broad right now, but it's definitely present there. And also do want to mention we're getting a downstream severe warning for Florence and Limestone. So this is going to be the same thing here.
Okay.
But yeah, we are starting to see that kind of pop back up.
All right, so the National Weather Service is maintaining a severe thunderstorm warning on this cell. In addition to, did you say Colbert and...
That would just be Lawrence and Limestone.
Okay, Lawrence and Limestone counties will get a severe thunderstorm warning for this as well. Let's go back up and let's head up Highway 43 real quick. I do want to pay attention to the shoals up to Lawrenceburg and then almost into Columbia. The shoals so far, a little bit electrical, a few clashes of thunder along with some lightning, of course. Moderate rainfall. It was quite a bit stormy there a little bit ago. This cluster of storm activity, which is not severe, this is actually a mean sounding cluster of storms this morning over southern middle Tennessee, is not severe warned at this time. I was driving in, and you can probably still tell by my shirt, literally it takes me, 20, 30 feet to walk from the car into the back door of the studio building here. And I became a drowned rat real quick. So personally speaking, I have never driven in rain this hard and in that much electricity. 347 lightning strikes over the past few minutes. There is the potential for some hail embedded in this, especially just to the northeast of downtown Lawrenceburg, back out to the west of Pulaski, up toward Bodenham, and then as you head out toward Liberty Hill and Linville and Campbellsville, there's also the potential there for a little bit of hail. But notice how electrical these storms are and how much rain is falling. This is going to lead to a flash flood threat, if nothing else. One thing I did notice with this cluster of storms in the southern mid-state this morning is that it's not very windy. There's not a lot of wind here. It's just intense rain, intense thunder, intense lightning, which makes this bark a whole lot worse than the bite. Okay, so that's why we're flying below severe criteria. But I do want to let you know what's going on here. And let's look at velocities real quick. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing to worry about with this cluster, but again, very electrical. Power's probably going to be flashing in a few parts of the area as a result, maybe even some outages. Hopefully not, but if it does, this is why there's nothing spinning in this though, okay? Nothing to worry about. The stronger storm actually maintains that severe warned storm back down in Franklin County in the city of Russellville. And so let's take a peek on that. And yeah, see how that kind of popped back up there?
Yeah.
Looking at the higher elevation off of High Top, we are still seeing the intensification of the hail core in the middle of that storm cloud, several thousand feet up, and then that also translates down to the surface. So mean storm, probably some very strong wind activity through Russellville at the moment, north of Waco, and working out toward the Colbert County line.
Oh yeah, I was just taking a look just to keep an eye on the trends of velocity, right? And we're still kind of broad at the moment. We don't see anything too tight, right? So neither does the Weather Service. That's why we've got a severe downstream as opposed to a tornado warning. But it kind of reinforces the point me and Fred were talking about earlier, that this is a cyclical type of thing where it can go up and down and up and down and up and down, and it's done that several times over the last few hours, last couple hundred miles, right? I mean, this thing's been over since west of I-55 in Mississippi, and it's still going here, and we've got to keep a really close eye on it just because of the environment it's in. By the way, look behind it.
Yeah.
Got a lot of, you probably got some good hail falling down here too. I mean, this is not rotating. We were just looking at that. This is just kind of pushing out.
A decent
You do have some
translation
good
of wind around there.
I would say the same thing.
172.
I would say the same thing about that. You're probably getting 50, 60 mile an hour gusts translating down there, but this is training and kind of developing that flooding threat that you were talking about there a second ago.
Okay.
And there's that severe warning for Lauderdale, Limestone, Lawrence, and it does actually clip some of Colbert and Morgan, so they did actually end up including that. So there we go. I'll go ahead and expand that out for you. Wow, it's a big one. Look at that.
All right, so the National Weather Service in Huntsville will issue a new severe thunderstorm warning, a big blanket severe warning for the rest of Colbert, northern Lawrence. You've got eastern Lauderdale, and a really big chunk of Limestone in that warning.
That goes
effective
4:45
until 4:45. Not tornadic, but still a powerful storm that does have a history of being tornadic, and it could recycle and kind of spin back up. So I don't think, is there a Tor possible tag on it?
You read my mind. I was actually just taking a look, and there is not right now, but I'll keep a very close eye on that.
What we're looking for, off the air, by the way, behind the scenes, the National Weather Service will also put tags with warnings to let us know that, hey, they're watching for potential for maybe a quick spin tornado or the likelihood of an embedded tornadic cell within this cluster. We're not seeing that tag on the warning, which is a good sign, but still nonetheless, you've got a very powerful band of storms that will be training. And what training means is that they're going to follow in line and shoot straight up to the northeast, probably at around what, 40 or 50?
About 45 is where we're at now, yeah.
So Chase has got some times of arrival. Layton at 4:03. Town Creek at 4:10, North Cortland at 4:16, Cortland, Alabama at 4:18, Rogersville at 4:24, Coxie at 4:31, Athens at 4:48, and Elkmont, if it holds together, which it probably will, in just under 1 hour, arriving in downtown Elkmont at 4:50 this morning. Our current time is 3:51 as you watch this weather update from the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, and as I still dry out from walking into the building because of this heavy cluster that's over our studios this morning. This is the area of concern. Again, not necessarily tornadic at this time, but it does pack a punch. There's embedded very strong wind activity. That's what Chase pointed out here just a moment ago. That's going to continue to be the case as this pushes toward the northeast. Folks in Bethesda downrange, Neesmith, you've got Terrytown and Cortland, all within the range of this. Hatton as well. Let's put that new Hatton cam to use and take a look and see what we can see from downtown Hatton, Alabama. We just updated our Hatton site yesterday.
There we go. All right.
When it didn't update for a second, I thought, oh no.
Well, actually, look at that
there we go.
lightning there, so we definitely have this big time.
All right, let's look for cloud structure real quick and kind of see what we can see there in the distance. What are your eyes revealing on that?
Let me get another strike in there, because I wanted to say, you're almost starting to see a sort of shelf cloudy structure, right? And we're kind of bowing out with that. Wow, look at that, big old strikes there. In fact, I don't know if this has a night version, but it's in the daylight mode, it's in the color mode. So clearly this lightning is so robust, it's keeping this camera in the daytime mode. But I saw in those flashes, you see that there? Kind of a shelf cloud structure. So it shows that wind threat is probably the dominant threat of this right now.
Yeah, you can see that, especially behind that.
Saw that right there.
So there's your shelf cloud. And a shelf cloud is not a wall cloud. I want to specify that. The shelf cloud is the leading edge of the storm. Everything has a beginning and an end. And so that is the beginning of a storm where you see that shelf cloud structure. And you can tell it really easy because lightning behind that leading edge is illuminating where we can see that. And there it is right there. And so we, again, just updated that yesterday. Hopefully not for just in time for it to get struck by lightning. Yeah. We certainly hope and pray because this is going to be a valuable resource as we look ahead to later in the day. Remember that the National Weather Service maintaining a new severe thunderstorm warning on this cell in Franklin County through Limestone County now, effective until 4:45. It is very loud and very wet this morning in Russellville. It really intensifies south of Glasgow Corner down toward Hodges. This is Highway 43. And then back out toward, again, Hodges and Glasgow Corner south of Bell Green this morning. And that's Duketon.
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
So Duketon is right there. Phil Campbell is here, and that's back out toward the west of Phil Campbell. A lot of folks know this area, very well populated part of the county. But again, note that you do have a very bright reflectivity core, which again is translating to the likelihood of there being hail in addition to flash flooding rainfall. Here's the Barron Button product that we have exclusive on the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So 3/4 of an inch sized hail.
And you know what that might be telling me, Ben? That might kind of be indicating that as opposed to big old golf balls falling out of this, this might just be a lot of penny dime size hail, maybe quarter size hail, right? Because radar doesn't know the difference between a lot of small hail and a little bit of big hail. So this might be that kind of situation where you start seeing those pictures in the morning of people's patios covered with hail, up to their ankles, right?
Yes.
So this is kind of one of those situations. But still, that can cause some trouble, right? I mean, that's definitely one thing to consider. But that's probably what we're seeing there north of Duketon.
Yeah. All right.
You notice that kind of there a little bit? It's kind of bowing out a little up here, if you want to mention.
Do you see that bow back out to the southeast of Colbert Heights?
And it definitely seems to be taking more on that structure. You notice, the rotation's kind of...
Not there.
Yeah, it's kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the Weather Service mentioned the same thing, and that is the trend we want. That's what they said.
Yes.
That's what we said. We definitely want that here for this morning. So the trend is your friend.
Okay.
That much is for sure.
So I'll tell you what, we will continue to watch this guy very closely. I don't want to beat a dead horse with this because I know there's a lot of anxiety. If we see things start to spin, we're right here, and buddy, we're going to hop right back on for you and let you know what's going on. Otherwise, so far this morning, as of what's going on, it is either sub-severe or right at severe criteria, and that's being driven by quite a few principles. More than likely, there's a little bit of wind, maybe a little straight line wind activity coming out of that Russellville cell down in Franklin County, but nothing is spinning. Hardly any wind in this. This is mostly rain and lightning, which again is a very loud bark, but not a horrible bite this morning. But many of you have probably awakened and say, what in the world is going on? Is this all that is going to happen today? No, it is not. Before we go back, I want to tell you what you're looking at is just the warm-up. Go ahead.
Going to Links 1, if you want to talk about that a little.
We are looking at a tornado outbreak today. What we're seeing is just the warm-up round. As we go throughout the day, the atmosphere recovers, and we wind up with enough energy and enough potential for us to use this language: supercell storms, tornado outbreak, potentially upper end tornadoes. You know what that means. In addition to catastrophic damage in some parts of the region. We think the energy in the atmosphere is going to ride from about maybe just a little south of Nashville. I'm going to say Highway 96, all the way down through the state of Alabama and then southeast Mississippi as we head through the course of today. That puts us in our viewing area, if you're watching in these counties that are highlighted, puts us almost in the bullseye for it. We will be with you. We will watch this carefully, and we will continue to keep you advised. Stay with the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel. For Chase Wilson, I'm Ben Luna. Fred Gossage here's well. Fred's trying to get a little rest. The rest of our team will be here as we head throughout the remainder of this morning. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and God bless the Tennessee Valley.
You're watching the